Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, October 26, 2018. Happy Friday, everyone. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We continue to go downward in this market. We have not maintained acceptance above 2700. The retest into 2700 was offered. Here we are testing lows again, pushing to new lows in overnight trading, pre-market trading. And still holding below 2700s. This is not good. This is exactly what we talked about before, in that we could bounce into this area or drop into the area and then bounce, but if we can't hold above it, that's when you start to open up the lower edge of this range, or the lower portion of this range, down into 2500 or 2500 evens. So we could be looking at a move that takes us into 2450 even, to knock out those recent lows into this zone, and that's where you may begin to see a bigger bear trap come in, where the bulls will defend and look to really rally this thing much higher. But right now, no support to be found. Price dropping through 2700. Much more selling pressure could be seen ahead. Not adding any long exposure right now. Instead, adding short exposure or keeping hedges on as this thing pulls back and tries to find some support. So right now, downtrending market. If in the near term price can start pushing up above the 2680s, that can open up a little bit more strength and a retest back above 27. But right now, looking bearish at the moment, and we'll continue to watch it. If we take a look at the NQ, very similar situation. Let's bring that up. New lows. At the beginning here, we had a higher low. We didn't quite take out the lows. That's a little suspect, so we were watching as low as 7K. We knew a break would be significant. Here's the retest and leading to new lows yet again. This looks like it could have another round of weakness that could take it as low as the 6300s or maybe even lower. So here's 63, about right here. That's recent support lows. Below 62 would take you to that recent low. Where do we have to find support? On this recent drop here, we were looking at price retrading back to the FOMC key level from May. That's still just below. Again, this market appears to be weak unless it can reclaim prices above 7K soon. So right now, watching for more downside price action at the moment. If we take a look at crude oil, showing a little bit of a hold off the lower edge of this range, and that's kind of what we were looking for. You can see kind of this lower edge right here, where you have the lower trend line, upper trend line somewhere about right here. Very tight range over the last 3 days plus. You see a very clear rectangle that is developed at these lows. That type of compression usually precedes what could be a major push back up. Very similar to what we saw last time down here. Major drop, 3 days sideways, and then the breakout eventually led to some incredible strength. So this could be another one of these opportunities here. Again, holding below the previous month's low and not dropping to new lows is bullish in the near term. We're at the right side of the chart, where it makes sense to start looking for buy opportunities. Again, if this thing can push above 68s, we could have a quick push to 72, followed by a little chop and then go. So watch this area for potential breakouts. If we take a look at gold, what you'll notice with gold here is that it continues to hold around 1240. Hasn't rejected that level, but it hasn't been able to push through it. It continues to hold gains after the squeeze. Everything has still pointed higher since this day, when we mentioned that that could be the low heading into the end of the year, and so far that's been the case. Again, I would like to see one good flush that could lead to the next major breakout. Above 1240 opens up at least 1287s down the road. And so again, as long as this thing can continue to hold 1200, we remain bullish in gold. Lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Haven't looked at Bitcoin in a while. I don't even know if this entire week, but this week it hasn't been about Bitcoin. Obviously, it's been very narrow, very tightly coiled price action. You really don't get that narrow without seeing some sort of breakout. This is narrow even by Bitcoin standards. If you look here on the 5-day range basis, it's trading 40% of its normal range, usually averaging 400 plus points. It's at about 195. That's super narrow. And that's just the last 5 days. It's been super narrow for 6-8 days now. So again, this one doesn't have much room to run anymore. It either has to start going to the upside, in which case, you know, 8,500, 10K, and up to 12K could be in play, or it needs a flush to kind of shake out the weak hands. And right now we are at the point where something has got to give. And even if it's to the upside, it could be pretty significant. But unless it starts to really push through 7,500 and especially 8,500 up there, we're not going much higher than that. Everything has been lower high. So continue to watch this, but it could be soon that we're going to see some sort of breakout opportunity. All right, that is it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, happy Friday, and I'll see you in the trading room.